I'd like to do my homework so we get that all out of the way. Those of you that don't know me, I'm the doyenne of relationship building. What I do is really help take you through to living your best life, your best single life, and that's what it's all about. We want to make sure that you know our website, which is goingsolomedia.com. We have all our wonderful shows on there, and there's information about the guests. You can just click and listen to their shows, or you can go over to our great YouTube channel. We have got like over 500 videos, so we want you to be able to enjoy each and every one of those. So if you've got a question or you want to reach out to me and make a comment, I would love to hear that. Just email me at goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. So here we go. Let's get on with the show because that's what we're here for. We have a fabulous guest and she's waiting right here on the stage with me. And I am so excited about having her. Her name is Christina Flach. She's the CEO of Pretty Girl Makeup. She's a celebrity makeup artist. She's a widow, unfortunately, and she does sepsis awareness advocate. She's a fashion commentator for the Soap Digest magazine, a single mom of 4, and unfortunately, she knows grief probably more than, unfortunately, than she wants to know. And so that's what our show is about tonight. She helped her mom, and so her mom, as she was moving through to this world to the next, and also her husband and her baby. So we want to talk about and really concentrate on tonight, grief with grace. And so welcome, Christina, to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. How are you?
It is great having you. So let's talk a little bit at the beginning about, I'd like to embrace you for who you are. And you're a terrific woman. You embrace life itself, and you've also established yourself in a wonderful business. So let's take us through a little bit of what you've experienced here, so we can touch a little bit more on your life. So kind of take us through the journey here.
Well, I am a CEO and a makeup artist of Pretty Girl Makeup, and I'm a mother. One of my babies passed away on Christmas Day 13 years ago. His name was Beau. And my husband, Ken Flach, passed away 2 years ago last March. He was a he was the #1 tennis player in the world with his partner, Rob Seguso. They won a gold medal in Seoul. They were on the Davis Cup team. They won Wimbledon, many amazing tournaments. So we were married for 8 years. And he unfortunately got sick with bronchitis, which turned into pneumonia. And he wasn't, we were with Kaiser Permanente at the time. They were our healthcare providers. And their protocol is to see their patients, to call in and to see how sick you are. And then they determine whether you're going to see a doctor or not. They prescribed the wrong medicine for my husband. They'd given him prednisone and cough medicine with codeine. He'd been on prednisone and his immune system had been compromised. So when he went on the cough medicine with codeine, which suppresses your breathing, and the inhaler, he got sick much faster than what an average person would have. Whoops, what happened here? Sorry about that. He was not seen by Kaiser Permanente or the Dr. Culbertson, who was his attending doctor at the time. And within 12 hours, he was spitting up blood. I rushed him to the emergency. He got on life support. He was spewing up, orangey mucus infection. It was horrible. So he had sepsis. And unfortunately, with sepsis, if you're not treated with an antibiotic in the right amount of time, it affects all of your organs and they shut down. And so when my husband was put on life support, all his arms and legs turned black. And so within 4 days, they had told me that if he survived, he would have to have his arms and legs amputated. And so I knew that would never be a way he would want to live. And so we had to take him off life support, and he passed away, within minutes. So since then, I have been the Sepsis Alliance had contacted me to see if I would be willing to speak about raising awareness for sepsis, because so many people are unaware of the signs of sepsis. It's very preventable if treated in time, if you know the symptoms. If you go to the sepsis.org website, there's a thing on there called time. And what it means is T is for temperature. You could be incredibly warm or incredibly cold. I is for infection in some place in your body. You know, it could be a cut, or it could be in your mouth, and a cold like what my husband had. M is for mental decline. You're kind of hard to rouse them. It's hard to get them to think clearly because it's in their blood system, the infection. And E is for excruciating pain. You feel like you're dying because you are. Sepsis is the most unforgiving illness. It just attacks at a rate that is so fast and just shuts down all your organs. So it's a very frightening illness. And so a 250,000 people die every year from it. And so I really want to just get people to, know what the symptoms are so that they don't have the same outcome that we had, my family had, and can.
I really commend you for being able to come on and talk about such heartbreaking, situations that you've had in your life. And really, especially to now, in today's world where we're dealing with, diseases, viruses, all of those things, we are so much more aware of, different things that are out there that we can catch. I mean, it's becoming really a topic of conversation now. And so I think that really making us aware of this particular disease, that we need to know more about it. We need to know about a lot of different diseases so we can become aware, so we know if we see something that's really abnormal that we get to the doctor right away. Because so often people don't go to the doctors because, they think, oh, they'll just get better on their own.
That's the thing with sepsis. There isn't a tomorrow. If you don't get treated and seen immediately, you will die. And that's a fact with sepsis. It is not one of those things, you think, oh, I'll get cough medicine with codeine. Oh, I'm going to feel so much better because I'm going to rest. It's actually the opposite. Cough medicine with codeine, if you have an infection and you are not treated with countering it with an antibiotic, you can go septic. And that's what happened to Ken. It's the cough medicine with codeine suppresses your breathing to the point that the infection just grows like a wildfire. And so it is incredibly important. If you have any of these symptoms, go to the doctor, you get a blood test, you'll find out in 20 minutes whether you're septic or not, and you will get on an antibiotic and you'll survive. The problem is if you're not seen, Ken wasn't seen by Kaiser or Dr. Culbertson. I want to make change in the medical system. I want a company like Kaiser that unfortunately rewards their doctors for not seeing patients. I want change. Every patient deserves to be seen. And I think it's totally wrong and criminal and morally wrong on a million levels that my husband wasn't seen and that, he died unnecessarily. It's unbelievable to me that a doctor would prescribe something. He knew his immune system had been compromised. He knew that, he was sick and he didn't see him. So it's really, really important. And I guess another thing I'm trying to get through to people is that if you have a feeling like the doctor isn't understanding what you're saying or you don't think it's right, get a second opinion, go somewhere else. If they don't have the right antibiotic like they didn't have for Ken, get in the car and go to another hospital. I had no idea, what was going on. So.
Yeah, you're right about that because I remember years ago, and I'll share this with you because I think it's important. Years ago, I took one of my children in to be seen to the doctor, and he was a baby. It was the beginning of everything. And so I took him in, and the doctor just kind of poo-pooed things, but then in my gut, I felt like something wasn't right. This wasn't right.
It's your woman's intuition.
Right. And so I took him back, and then again, it was like that. And then just something in me said, no, you've got to do something else. So I went to another doctor. And you know what the doctor told me? And we found out what it was. And he ended up getting on an antibiotic and it was fine. But what the doctor told me is that number one, you know your body.
Absolutely.
You know when you're not well, and you've got a sense about you. And then he said, and then you know about your child, and you know when your child's off, when they're little, when they're babies and they can't talk and stuff, when they're off. So I listen to the parents, I listen to the people, and I get it. And I think that's exactly what you're saying here today, is this doctor, in the humdrum of hurriness or whatever is happening in the world today, didn't pay attention enough to say, wait a minute, this guy says he's sick and we need to be seeing him.
Right. And companies like Kaiser Permanente, they actually reward their doctors with bonuses for not seeing patients. So there is going to be an incredible loss of life in the future, and probably now, because, if you're not seen, you could possibly have an outcome like Ken had. And that's just not right. You can't be rewarding people for failure, just because it's in your business plan. It's just, when I heard that, I was just infuriated. And so, I really would love to see, change in that, especially in that company, that, every patient is at least even FaceTime, because a doctor, how can you just diagnose someone by speaking with them on the phone? You need to see how they look and how they feel, and check their pulse and their heart. And I mean, there's a million things. I'm not a doctor, but I know that there's a million things that one would have to do to diagnose someone, especially that was this ill.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally get what you're saying. My father here recently had an appointment with his doctor, talked on the phone, and then she started reading off all this other stuff. And my dad and I said, wait a minute, that's not him. We think you've got the wrong record.
Oh my gosh.
The wrong file. And so then she looked into it deeper and realized, that she had the right file, but she wasn't reading everything correctly. But yeah, and so we were thinking, wait a minute, how does she know? Because she doesn't see him. There's no check or balances there when you're doing it on the phone. So you're right. You're definitely right. And I think with all of this that's happening with the coronavirus, everyone should be entitled to a test no matter what.
Absolutely.
And entitled to a doctor to be seen. So yes, I totally agree with that. So what can we do as individuals, to be able to help this movement that you're making here?
Well, go to the sepsis.org website. There's a ton of incredible information there. They'll answer any questions you may have, and, having dialogue, you're at lunch or dinner or you're speaking with friends, but I guess now that we Zoom all the time, whoever you're Zooming with at Zoom cocktail party, that this is just a question to start conversation with. Like, do you know what sepsis is? Do you know what the symptoms are? And if you have them, what would you do? So I think the more organic conversation like that people will be more aware, and there will be less loss of life. And that's my hope.
Yeah.
Dealing with grief, I've obviously had more than most, but I've had to learn to live with that and manage it. And, I have other children and business, and, I'm on boards, and, when my mom passed away and my son passed away, I went through a really dark time, especially when my son Bo passed away. I started taking pills and just to numb myself. I was still functioning because, I have my children, but I just hurt so badly, and I didn't know how to manage it. And then my girlfriends stopped in and just said, okay, what are you doing? You don't even know how to take pills. Like, just stop, start being you again, get back, drinking your green juice and your water and your vinegar, and going to yoga and hiking and praying and meditating. And, that really did help. And so I went to a grief camp after Ken passed away. My friend Eva Mann took me to this grief camp at Canyon Ranch. And there was this amazing woman there, Rabbi Sherry Hirsch. She had written the book, We Pray, We Plan, and God Laughs. And it's a really great book for anyone grieving, because it just helps you to manage it. You don't ever get over grief. I'm never going to be over Ken dying. I'm learning to manage my grief and manage in a positive way, because I feel that, when someone dies, I feel that they go up to heaven and they're with us. They still are, watching over us. And I think it would be unbearable to look down on, if for Ken to look down on me, and if he saw that I wasn't, being my highest self and being productive and trying to be happy and a good mother and a good friend and, a good businesswoman, like it would break his heart if all he saw was me, wallowing, crying and depressed and sad. And I mean, believe me, I have those days. Yesterday was a day I was just feeling incredibly down and in a dark place with all that's going around, and I know it would be awful for him to watch. And so when I thought of it from that perspective, I just thought it doesn't mean I don't miss him or think about him every minute, but I know that it's important for me to use, this, what has happened, this experience in the most positive way I can. And if I can, using Ken's name to, raise awareness for sepsis, to honor him that way, I know he would be incredibly proud. I started a garden at the Edna McGuire School with my good friend Lisa Zimmer, and it's an outdoor classroom that's got a garden and a fruit orchard and chickens, and it's called the Bo Friedman Outdoor Classroom. And I'm incredibly proud of that because, people, have a hard time dealing with death, but they even have a harder time dealing with a baby passing. They don't want to talk about it. And, my baby was so incredibly scrumptious, and I don't want him to ever be forgotten. And nutrition is very important to me. And I think the greatest gift that I can give children is the opportunity to learn to eat vegetables and fruit and grow them and have that experience. And so I started that. And then I started the Babybow Fund at the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California. It's an educational fund at a private school. Most of the students are minority, and they're all on scholarship, 90% of the children. And so I started this fund because I wanted children to have the same educational opportunities that my children have had. And so we did, and Ken was an amazing supporter of the Northern Lights School. Vita Blue is on the board, and he puts on a celebrity golf tournament every October. And so Ken had played that, the entire time we were married. And then my son Bo's twin, Ben, is a golfer, and he, for the past 4 years, has been going on the 5th hole. It's a par 3. And they pay, it's called Beat the Kid. And so they, Ben goes up and hits a golf ball, and they give him a minimum of $20. And he's been raising money for his twin and his dad's foundations. And this past October, he raised $35,500.
That's terrific.
And it's so huge because, it's an enormous sum of money for one little 13-year-old boy to raise, but it's actually going to allow 3 children to go to private school for an entire year, which changes, 3 lives, 3 families, 3, the communities, and changes the world. And so it feels so great to me to see my young son, using these tragic events that have happened in his life to help others and to be of service. And I just feel really proud of him.
Well, you most certainly should. I tell you, it's the best way to as therapy. When you take it off of you, how you're feeling, the grief that you feel, because we deal a lot with relationship loss, and of course, it's through relationship itself, but it can be someone that has passing of a partner or whatever. It's just what I have found, that when you take that pain that you're feeling and you project that into a positive way through something else, where you're giving or you're helping someone else, it just grows and grows. It just becomes huger than life, and because you've got this energy that you want to be able to make a difference, and so you're certainly doing that, and I commend you for that. Because it's not easy. Yeah, it's still not easy. It's still not easy doing this, because when you're out making these causes, doing these things, you still have to address the fact of why you're doing it. So it's still painful to you. It's still a difficult situation for you. But on the same hand, because it helps so many people, and you see a change that's happening within your environment, other people's environment, like you said, the world. It just creates a shift, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I learned at Grief Camp at Canyon Ranch that, no one's grief is worse than anyone else's. And everyone's going to go through grief in a different pace and in a different way. But if I can help people, you're not honoring your loved one by just being miserable. And they, of course, wouldn't want you to feel that way. I mean, you wouldn't want your loved ones to feel bad. So I think the way to honor them in a positive way and is just so much more productive, and it feels better. And, I feel that, one day, I'll go up to heaven and I'll be with Ken and Bo, and that'll be great when it's my time, but it's not my time. So until then, I need to be the best mother I can be by setting a good example, and trying to make the world a better place, because I think the world is an amazing, beautiful place. And it's very challenging right now. It's, as a makeup artist, I can't tell you, I think that was part of my difficult day yesterday, was just thinking that, like, I've had this really amazing career. My agent, Brandy Moore with Artist Services, like, she books me these amazing jobs, and to feel that I can't do my job anymore, because of what's going on, is really hard, because I don't feel like I'm living. I feel like I'm existing, and that doesn't feel good to me. I just feel like I'm lucky that I have my company to run, and, I get to do these interviews, and, that's helpful. But I just feel, so my heart goes out to everyone that is going through this. We're all going through it together, and it's really hard. And, I don't know how the world's going to be. It's going to be very weird to go back do a TV show. Like, I had just finished a TV show in LA for Fox with Isaiah Washington called Kitchen Talk, which is going to be airing in June, June 22nd. And Isaiah actually called me the other day to just, like, make sure, like, you're coming back, right? And I was like, of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. But, I don't know what it's going to be like to go back on set. Like, am I going to have to wear a mask and gloves or a shield? Like, I have no idea what is going to happen. And so I can't wait to be able to have my life back a bit. It feels like it's been stolen from me, and I really don't. I'm a little bit resentful.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, I think that you've come a long ways, and you've created a lot. You've been able to make a lot of really goodness, and a lot of good things happen in honor of both your son and your husband. And and then now we're kind of like on a pause, aren't we, because of everything that's happening with the virus. So with saying that we're on a pause, we actually have to go on a pause, okay? So we're going to take a quick little moment of silence here. And those of you that are listening, we are on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the #1 internet singles talk network. So if we'll just take a moment of pause, so when we drop this into a radio format, we can have the commercial space. So just hang with us for 1 minute.
Of course.
Okay, those of you who've been listening, we are on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and I am Cece Schatz. You're on the Going Solo with Cece show. This has been a great first half. We've been talking a lot about just such, tremendous, heartbreaking, moving life changes. And so it's not only, something that I think we need to be aware that we are awareness of this illness, but also aware of what we can take with us once we have to recover from grief. And so we have a wonderful guest with us here today. She has really opened her heart and shared with us her journey and also her recovery. And so I think that is very, very important for those out there who are struggling with the loss of their own, any type of loss, whether it be a relationship loss of a partner, now in coronavirus, there could be loss of parents. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world here today. But we have Christina Flach with us. She's the CEO of Pretty Girl Makeup. She's a celebrity makeup artist. She's a widow. She really wants to make awareness for the sepsis disease so that everyone is more aware of the symptoms of that, because you can go downhill so quickly once you get that illness. And then she's also a fashion commentator for the Soap Digest magazine. She's a single mom of 4, and she lost her baby at Christmas time a few years back. So she knows of grief. She knows the pain of loss. And so she's sharing with us today her journey and how her recovery is and what she's doing to move herself forward and changing lives as she's doing it. So thank you. Welcome back, Christina.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's nice. It's nice. I wish I could have you here for other than grief. I would love to have you here for just the unique, wonderful person that you are. But I know but I know that what you're sharing with us today is really going to embrace those that are suffering, those that are really traveling through that transition period of loss. And so what you said, the first part of the show, I think was very spot on. You live in kind of a shell of yourself, and until you start grasping what you can do to make change. And you've definitely done that in your life. And by having, a routine, having things that you do, I think that certainly helps, because you were talking about, doing your show and now, of course, on a break from that, going back into that. So what is in store for you here in the future?
Well, since we've been the shut-in since March here in California, I revamped my website, prettygirlmakeup.com. I have a new business partner, Jordan Black, and it's been great because I don't always have time to do everything I want to do. So I decided that, okay, I'm not going to just stop living. I am going to keep working out and waking up at the normal time and work on projects that I don't have time for. So I revamped, relaunched the Pretty Girl website. We added on, to do virtual makeup lessons on Zoom with me, which I would normally not have time to do. I've been just trying to have a little quiet time. I've obviously had more alone time than I'm used to. One of my daughters lives in London. She's a fashion designer, Melania, and my other children, are all over the place doing things. And so it's been a little challenging for me because I'm used to being around a lot of commotion and children. And, thank goodness I have my dogs, and, my work gives me a lot of purpose. So, I'm very grateful that I have that.
Yeah. That happened to me when I went through my divorce. It's like I had the house full of noise, and then all of a sudden, no noise, And so what do you do? The TV on, or the radio on, or something on as background noise, because I'm so
absolutely. No, I know that all too well. I've been really grateful also. I mean, it's been so extraordinary how clever everyone is. And just, I've had my friend, Susan Hauser, she puts on this yoga class every day at 9:15. And, she's got this amazing following, and it really is helpful, to have that consistency. I'm used to going to a yoga or Pilates, or, I'm grateful that I live kind of outside the city, so I'm able to hike and walk outside a lot, which is really great. I think the one advice I would give people if they're feeling anxious or angry or frustrated, go outside, go for a walk, do a yoga, do a meditation. You just have to be almost extra disciplined right now. Drinking too much, eating too much, this is not the time, because it can spiral. I think if you start that, you don't want to get into those habits right now. If you can, just kind of make a schedule for yourself every day. And that's what I've been doing, making a schedule. And my partner and I, we Zoom every morning, what we're doing for the company, and, what we're doing with social media. And we had a conference call with and one of the influencers today. So we're just trying to create a new balanced normal. And I think that is really the only way to survive this without going crazy, because I speak about this a lot, that, when you're grieving, you have to decide that you want to be happy. Happiness is a choice and it's a habit. So the more that you do things that make you happy, whatever it is, working out, spending time with your family, it's a choice. And you can choose to say something positive or choose to say something negative. So I think if you can get yourself on that role of positivity, it really is helpful during this time. And if you're grieving during this time, my gosh.
Yeah. There's something to do if you're active, like you said, go out and take a walk. If you're truly active, you're burning off calories, but you're also burning off that anxiety that you're feeling. You're burning off pent-up anger, or it's just a release. And so, yeah, it's very, very good. I remember I used to run years ago, and I remember, like, when I was mad, I would run a lot faster.
Right? Or that even louder.
Yeah, my time would be like really, really good, but I was mad. It's like, you're home already. So, yeah.
And that's another thing that I've tried to do. Like I put the music on, like if I go out to work out, or I'm lucky I have a treadmill and a Pilates machine in my garage, and I just try to like turn up the music, like positive, loud music, and that helps. I light a lot of candles. I just, I have to say, I know a lot of people are like, oh, makeup, it's so superficial, whatever. But I even know for myself, getting dressed every day, brushing your hair, putting on a little bit of makeup, just so when you pass a mirror that you don't feel quite so, we're all visual. And if we see ourselves looking sad and depressed, you're just going to spiral and become more, sad and depressed. So it's really important, to just take a second for yourself and try to make yourself look and feel your best. Yeah,
you're right with that. They even say if you work from home, just normally work from home, you should get up, take a shower, get dressed. Like,
right. And like you're coming to your office. I do that. This is my office, and I make sure my bed's made every day. And I just, because I don't want to see that clutter. I don't know. I really like to keep my life orderly because it just keeps my mind in a good, positive place. And,
I agree with that. I think you're absolutely right. And my mom used to always tell me too, like when you make a bed, the reason you make a bed is not for the fact that, you want everything neat or whatever. It's just, it's a routine that you do. And so you just keep on that routine. And
right. The first thing you complete in the day. And then, you go back at the end of the day, and instead of going, oh, that bed looks messy and disheveled and yucky, it's like, oh, pretty bedroom. I can, pillows off the bed and get.
Yeah, I can't wait to jump in and go to sleep. So I totally agree. But I like the idea of what you were saying about being creative, because I think now is an excellent time. I've been extremely creative during this, and I've probably worked too much during the coronavirus.
And I think it's important because we are probably working more on our computers than normal, or sitting in front of the TV. Every few hours, get up and just walk to the corner and come back. I mean, just keep moving, because, your body can just start getting really achy from not moving enough. And that can lead to, I don't know, for me, can lead to depression.
Yes, I agree. So I think my takeaways here of what I'm getting from you is that, number one, be aware. I think it's important to be aware of the symptoms on that. Go to the website, check it out. And just, make a mental note for yourself. So if you or your loved one or someone that may be suffering, you might have heads up on, oh, well, it could be this, and you need to get to the doctor.
I've actually met people. I met a woman actually on Facebook. She sent me a note, and she had seen an interview I had done. And she said, I sent me a note. I think my husband's septic. What do I do? And I said, just get him to the hospital quickly. And, demand a blood test. And she did, and he was. And so, it made me so happy to feel that, like, someone isn't in, this widow's club with me, it's just great to be able to help save people. And, that's all we can do. I mean, I know we're all going to die one day, but you just don't want to go before your time.
Yeah.
And needlessly, that's the worst. The frustration of feeling that Ken died needlessly because he wasn't seen and treated properly is something that is really a hard burden to bear for me. It is really, it's it breaks my heart when I think, he wasn't seen and taken care of properly. It just is infuriating.
Yeah. It's hard to release that. It's hard to let that go. And it takes a lot of time for you to be able to do that. And maybe, we don't always have all the answers of why things happen,
No, we don't.
So sometimes we just have to say, listen, we're here and this is the life we've been dealt. And so now how do I get through to this? How do I get through the next day? How do I get through the next hour? How do I get through the next minute? And you just keep building on that. Don't go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, my daughter Rose had said to me after Ken passed, she said, Mom, you were so sad after Ken died. And, after Bo passed away. And then when you met Ken, he made you laugh and smile again and made everyone in our family laugh and smile, even my ex-husband. And I'm really grateful for that time that I had with Ken. We were married 8 years. I wish it was 80 years, but I just really try to focus on the time that I did have, because it was so special and magical. And, I'm grateful that I had him, and I miss him so much.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And, your kids see that too. And so they see that wonderful part of it, that joy that your marriage brought to you and your relationship brought to you. And now the shift is happening, that you're coming out of the darkness, and you're now shifting into how can you take this energy that you have, this grief energy, and how can you restore that into good and make something positive happen. And you're doing that, hands fold, you're doing it. And you're also, you're building around you, you're changing lives, you're helping people, but then you're also building a business that you're empowering women, making them feel good about themselves. It's a win situation, but
thank you.
It doesn't take away the sadness that you've felt and are still feeling at times. I want to ask you something, though. I noticed that when we were broadcasting, and I can see it now, you have your lipsticks over on the side there.
I do.
So you show them to us. So, because on your website, ladies and gentlemen, I was looking at your website, and you have the lipsticks on there. And aren't they beautiful shades?
Thank you.
And they're also really good for your lips and everything.
They're hydrating, they're moisturizing, they're anti-aging, and they all have cute little names. There's
I like the bright pink. That's my thing, the bright. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
so
baby love.
Yeah, I was looking on the website. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we want to support you any way we possibly can. And
we have a hand sanitizer now.
You're probably the only one that has hand sanitizer.
You know what? It's so funny. Kara Golden, she's the CEO of Hint Water. She's a client of mine and a friend. And she always says that people come up with products because of a need. And so when my manufacturer of the lip gloss emailed me and said that they were, manufacturing to keep the company, the manufacturing plant going, that they were going to make hand sanitizer. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't find that at any store, Amazon, anywhere. And I would really love to be able to sell it. So we have that. Jordan and I came out with this, the hand sanitizer. It's on the website. It's 8 ounces. It's pretty big, and it's $14.99. And it ships in 1 day. So if anyone's interested.
You actually have it was a discounted too, because it was higher than that, I think. And you guys discounted it.
We did discount it.
Yeah.
It's costing a lot. More than one would think. But, I'm really happy to have that, because it's infuriating to me that a lot of, Instagram and Facebook aren't allowing you to sell it or advertise on those platforms, which I find really odd. I'm not jacking.
We're on Facebook now.
Well,
and we're on YouTube.
The hand sanitizer. You're trying to help people. It makes no sense to me. Why can't we sell hand sanitizer? What's the big deal?
People are really wanting it. It's like having
people are wanting it. Why is it we can't advertise? It's just a product. It's no one has to buy it, and our price is totally fair. It's the world.
Yeah, I was very surprised when I went on and I saw the hand sanitizer and I saw that you had discounted it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I better order some. So I'm gonna put an order in, but
thank you.
It's not gone before I get my order in. So
no, don't worry. We'll order more. We have plenty. It's all good. I just you just want to be able to get it to people and let them know that it's there, because I've gone on Amazon to try and buy hand sanitizer before that I came out with mine. And it's, it was going to arrive like in December of 2021 or something crazy. So,
right. Yeah. It's the same way with toilet paper. I have no idea.
You know what? Everyone thinks they have to have enough toilet paper. Is like enough for that till the end of time is really funny. But
now they're saying we're going to have a shortage of toilet paper because of
because everyone's got it hoarded.
Oh, it's crazy. It's a crazy world we live in for sure. But
world. I mean, I just see, and that's one of the blessings of my job is that I get to meet all these extraordinary people that I would not meet in my normal life. And that's one of the blessings. And I miss them. I'm kind of a gypsy. I'm used to getting on a plane or getting in the car and going to a shoot and meeting all these really cool people that I get to work with. And I miss them. I really miss that a lot.
It's funny because when I was young, that's what I wanted to be, was a makeup artist.
Oh, really?
Yes. I wanted to go to California and be a makeup artist.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that, but So
I was supposed to do.
I took cosmetology in high school so that I could do that. And then I ended up just getting married and having kids. But
I'm sure there are amazing people. Being a mom is hard.
That's okay. So now here I am. Yeah.
Honestly, when I go do a shoot, it is relaxing. When I'm being home with all my kids when they were little, oh my gosh, it was a lot. But I always say it's easy to be a crappy parent. You don't do anything. Being a good parent's really hard, and it's 24/7, and you're constantly trying to set a good example and do the right thing. It's a lot of work, and you want the world to, I'm so proud of my kids. My daughter is a fashion designer. My daughter Rose went to NYU. She graduated from Tisch with 2 degrees, and she's a screenwriter. And Nikolai's in college playing golf, and Ben's in 7th grade. Like, I am so proud of my kids. Like, they're like actually people I would want to know, even if they weren't my kids, And
I know. I feel the same way about mine. And I always tell everyone they make me look like a good parent. And I really
exactly.
not that I don't think I was really a very good parent. I think
I'm sure I've done plenty of things to, that they're going to need 1,000,000 hours of therapy, but I tried as hard as I could.
I know. I used to say to my daughter, I said, you didn't come with a manual.
No, you don't come with a manual. This one's different. And then you think, oh my gosh, they came out. So how did they come out of the same place with the same parents, and they're so different?
I know it. They are too. I have 5 kids, so I know. And I had a stillborn, and so I know the loss, the grief of loss. So yeah. So it's, what you're doing is wonderful. It is absolutely wonderful that you're getting out there in a positive way. You're creating awareness regarding the sepsis. You're creating awareness with regards to the grace of grief. You can handle that and get through that in a graceful way, and still be focused on yourself, still be focused on your positive energy, still give to other people. I mean, you're truly an example. And so thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh my gosh.
So before we go, I want to make sure everyone, this is your information. So if anyone wants to contact you, these are your websites, I think.
Yes, ChristinaFlach.com and prettygirlmakeup.com.
Yeah, prettygirlmakeup.com. So Christina, it's Christinaflach.com, and then Pretty Girl, just like it sounds, pretty, PRETTY, girl, GIRLMAKEUP.com. So we spell that out for the audio, for the radio. So they have it. But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking for all the wonderful things that are going to happen to you in the future. I know that this is just this new website that you have, these products that you have is just the just the tip of the iceberg for you.
Oh,
And all the goodness that you're doing, your children are embracing it, helping you. So, you know, I think that that's very wonderful. You're setting a wonderful example for your kids. Your kids are setting wonderful example for children their age. And so, you know, kudos to you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
They have a good dad too. So.
Well, I'm sure they do. He's not here, so we're going to give you all the credit.
Okay.
So I'm sure he'll appreciate that. So, well, anyhow, well, we'll have to close the show. Is there any last words you'd like to share with our audience?
I just would like everyone to be happy and be in love.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great advice. Well, listen, you guys, we're going to have to close the show. It goes by very, very quickly. Again, if you guys want to reach me, all you have to do is email goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. And then our websites, of course, is the goingsolomedia.com. And then I've got a lot of great things happening right there on goingsoloNetwork.com, the Going Solo Next Step. And we just got a lot of stuff going on. We've got a comment here. Let's see who the comment is. Oh, here, look at this. See?
Oh, Shannon.
That's beautiful. Look at that.
Miss Empress. Shannon, she's someone you should interview. She's amazing. She was a ballerina. I'm going to brag for a minute. She's a ballerina at San Francisco Ballet, and then she starred in American in Paris and New York, and now she is Empress. She singer-songwriter, and that picture of her right there is one. I am her makeup artist. And so that was from a shoot we did with my friend Richard Sue, who I'm going to be shooting with very soon. So. Oh,
that's wonderful. Well, we'll have to get her, twist her arm and see if she wants to come on the show. We'd love that.
Oh yeah, she's
and then we had someone here, just a Facebook user, saying nice job. Oh, so that is really good. So, you know, there again, they give you the encouragement that you need, you know, and that's really what it's all about. It's really help taking you to the place where you need to go. And so you've done that with grace, and we want to appreciate you for doing it. So thank you so much, Christina. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Nice. I'm sure we're fast friends. That's for sure.
Oh, we're best friends now.
Absolutely. Well, listen, everyone. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, radio, TV, and podcast. And I am Cece Schatz with Going Solo with Cece. And again, if you guys need hand sanitizer, all you got to do is go right here on the website, prettygirlmakeup.com, and there's hand sanitizer there. I'll see you on that site because I'm going to be ordering mine tonight. Talk to you later. Bye, Christina. We appreciate you.
So much.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.